you ever loved someone deeply and realized you weren't compatible? How did you handle it? It looks like Pastor Jermone is looking at his wife to answer that question first.
I'm going to digress for her because, you know, she had more experience
Oh my
in this
God.
area.
Really? Okay.
What?
Share.
You just putting me out there like that.
Well, you did, babe. You had
It's
more.
true. It's true. I was a dater, so and my husband was not. But I was a dater, and so so you know, when you come to the realization that this relationship can go it cannot go another further. I think you have to be honest with yourself, and I think what happens to people is they believe and feel, I have invested so much time, so much energy, so much money, so many Christmases and Thanksgivings and all of those things piled up, but they don't think about the cost of forever versus a couple of years. And so how do you get out of it? How do you handle it? Is you have to be honest with yourself that this is not my partner. They're not a bad person. They're just not the person for me. I have seen them in various seasons, and in various seasons, they have shown up to not be the person for me. Right. And so you have to acknowledge that they're not the person for you, and then you must have enough courage to do what you know you need to do.
Yeah.
And stop wasting the time that this person could be finding somebody for them and you could be finding somebody for you. But as long as you're together occupying space, no one else can come into this relationship.
That's right.
So you have to acknowledge it, and then you have to have courage to break it off.
Yeah, and if you're married, because that's in the context of singleness, right? And in a marriage relationship, when there's no compatibility, is usually an unwillingness to compromise.
Exactly.
It is some chemistry there, right? But if you got this far, you already walked down the aisle and you got married, there had to be chemistry at one time. So now there's a refusal to compromise or to communicate expectations and give the other person what they want. So that stubbornness is not going to create an increased compatibility. So now if we're married, we don't want to destroy the relationship. We just want to submit to what it is that you say you need and quit forcing it and quit fighting back and forth. It doesn't matter if I think it's important or if I think it's right or if I think it's stupid or if I think you don't need that. I don't get to tell you what you say you need or what you say you want. If I want to be with you, then I want to be compatible. Then I have to be willing to compromise and I have to be willing to communicate. Because there's a lot of people that's frustrated that haven't communicated.
Communicate what they want.
Exactly. And then there's a lot of people that have communicated but won't compromise. So I told you what I want, but you're not giving it to me and you refuse to give it to me because you're too in your head about if you think I need it or deserve it. And that's ridiculous. So if we're together and we're married, if you want to move forward in this marriage, then I need to be honest about what it is that I need and what it is that I want. And then we need to be honest about if you're going to, because it ain't no cake, if you're willing to give me what I said that I need and what it said that I wanted.
Yep. Yeah. That's good.
Suitable and compatible and adaptable. That's what it was.
But a great session with the power couple. Do you guys do counseling?
We do coaching. Yes.
Coaching.
Counseling is when, because people just want to have marriage counseling and get in a room and blame each other for what they did. Pointing fingers. We don't have time for that. What we discovered is that people lack tools. Right? They want to be in relationships and they want to be in love, but they don't know how to, especially if you weren't raised around it, didn't grow up seeing it. You were an entire adult and now you get into one of the most significant and important relationships in your life and you have no equipment for it. Barely went through premarital counseling. Barely have no library whatsoever concerning marriage. Just the least amount of books, the least amount of podcasts you listen to, the least amount of books you read, the least amount of information you intake.
Conferences, retreats.
No conferences, no retreats, no love songs. All the songs is lust songs. You have no intake inside of how to facilitate the most important relationship. So we don't like counseling because it's a waste of time. But we will coach you, give you tools, give you equipment, give you information. That's why we write books. We wrote this book. It's called the 30-Day Love Challenge. 30-Day Love Challenge gives you an opportunity to practice love in action not in just theory. Because love is a choice. Practice love as an important ingredient in your relationship for 30 consistent days, every single day. Read a devotion. Do this on your spouse. Do it to them, not to receive anything back from them, but just do it from your side and just engage with intentionality. So we give tools to equip people, because if people are equipped, they will have successful relationships.
So folks can follow you.
Yep. Actually, we got one coming up in March. It's the end of March. That's right. The end of March, the last March 24th it starts. It's a group setting, because we learn in group settings. It is online. It is so people can do from all over the world, but it is a group setting. We do 4 weeks of marriage coaching that will give you, we talk about vision, we talk about communication, we talk about intimacy, and we talk about money. Yep. So we get to the big 3 and add, like my wife said, if you know where you're going, you know what you're after, you stop talking about the things you're not engaged in. And we invite you to be a part of that if you're curious and interested, and also a part of the 30-day love challenge that's going to kick off in the month of March that you can do at any time.
How many books have you guys written?
Together?
3.
4.
4.
Yes, together 4.
On relationships, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep,
Cool,
absolutely.
Cool. So
Podcast, Marriage Monday, on all podcast platforms. Where we spent, 50-something episodes where we talked through all types of things. Very, very transparently, I might add.
So this is not new to them.
No.
I just didn't pull somebody to be on the This is, they're qualified. They've been assigned for such a time as this. All right, so we want to talk about deep topic, a much needed topic, as we were talking off air, and you said this is happening a lot.
Yeah.
Can a relationship survive after betrayal?
Yeah, we believe that it can survive after betrayal, after infidelity. It just has to be it has to be strategic. It can't be something that is just kind of, we're going to deal with it when we can. It has to have a strategy. It has to be consistent. It has to have, I won't say questioning, but questions, because we have to ask ourselves, how did we get here? And people have to make a decision. They have to make a decision that they want their marriage, that they want their spouse, and behind that decision comes some intentionality that happens. Yeah,
and not only infidelity, even though we kept running into that one as a big one, but betrayal betrayal happens before infidelity, right? So people think that infidelity is that's actually that's not the source. That's the symptom. That's an action or an attribute. But there's a lot of people that haven't had infidelity that still feel like they've been betrayed. Betrayed from honesty, vulnerability, trust, security, protection, information hiding, manipulation, lack of sex, lack of meeting my needs, lack of being honest, being truthful, being transparent, coming forth with being forthright. With information. So we always go right to infidelity to think that that's the ultimate betrayal. And for some people it may, but for other people, there's other betrayals that's happening that people don't think are as big, that's really eating at the fabric of your relationship and deteriorating the relationship on the inside out. And by the time infidelity has taken place,
betrayal happened
so far long ago. You had an emotional affair long before you had an actual affair. You had a relationship with somebody that you trusted and told your truth more than you told your spouse. Somebody else got the good news first because they responded to you in a certain way, and you just were drained. So you were on autopilot in your own relationship because if betrayal happens and is never communicated and never fought to restore, then people think the ultimate betrayal is infidelity. I'm not gonna rank it because that's based on every relationship. But I will say that there's many betrayals that people don't discuss that are bigger than the one everybody's focused on. Because the question is, if we got there, how did we get there? I'm sure it was baby steps that took place that we ignored. And the scripture says not to be preachy, but this is a gospel radio show. Proverbs 28 and 13 says that whoever conceals their sins does not prosper. And whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but the one who confesses and renounces them finds mercy. And so in our relationship, we talk about, we don't have secrets. Like, we transparently, honestly, from history to now, we don't have any secrets among each other, but that's because we can be trusted with each other's truth without feeling insecure, without feeling like...
Or being brought up in a moment of vulnerability or in an argument, and I'm about to bring this back up that you shared with me. And when your spouse doesn't feel secure, then they're not going to reveal or tell you everything, their truth. Because most of the time, what I tell women is that, you know, sometimes if a man is if he's trying to be transparent with you and he's trying to talk to you, he's only going to tell you 20% of what exactly happened, just to see what your reaction is going to be. And if you start blowing up after the little bit that he just revealed to you, he's not going to tell you anything else. So you really, if he tells you something, just know, sis, it's only 20%. He didn't even give you the rest of it, because he's like, she can't even handle that. And to me as an individual, not because I live here, not because my husband does that, but I don't know if I could even exist in a relationship where I could not be transparent or trust the place that is supposed to be my safe space.
My safe space, my home.
I can't tell you what I'm feeling without you getting in your emotions or feeling a certain kind. Like, this is my feelings. This is how I feel. This is not about you. And it's like, that's a dangerous space to be married and not be able to tell your spouse everything. And I don't know. I think before I met my husband and I knew I wanted to be married, I was like, I need him to be able to tell me the most uncomfortable things in the world, because I don't ever want him to come out of this relationship looking to find a space where he can be accepted.
But I think that's the speed of our relationship, because in intention, in the beginning, we were friends. And so because we were friends, I found myself confiding in you in a way that I hadn't confided in anyone else. That speed of trust was immediate. You was grown. You was mature. You were a safe space. You didn't flinch. You understood that what I was telling you, you could handle it, and maybe you could handle it because you're like, this ain't my man. So maybe that's where it was in the beginning, but it carried on into our relationship. And I appreciate that friendship and that ability to be transparent.
You guys are really passionate about it. I hear the passion. Even when you communicated with each other, there's a passion about talking about relationships.
Yeah.
This is really good, and you guys are passionate. So